This is the very first episode that I'm recording, and I can't wait to impart my knowledge. I can't wait to learn from other people who are using the human design system to swim with the flow of their energy instead of against it, instead of feeling resistant, instead of feeling like they can't do something or that they just really struggle with something. I want to help everybody to be able to live a life of flow and ease. And I truly believe that the human design system is one of the systems that can help us to do this. So let's get started with the first episode. So I wanted to talk a little bit about human design, what it is, because I think when people discover this podcast, I think they're probably going to come back right to this episode just to hear my take on the human design system. So let's start from the very beginning. So human design is like a personality test, but it's a personality test that's for your soul. And I love telling people about this story that I have of when I personally did a personality test in my corporate role. It was about 6 years ago, and we were asked to do the colours test, right? Because we had a workshop booked and it was all part of, the HR stuff that we were doing within the corporate job. And within the colours test, you have to answer certain questions. Now, I had just been given this new role, right? I had been saved from redundancy. And I had been put into a role that gave me a very big pay rise and a lot more responsibility. So without a doubt, I had imposter syndrome in this role. But about 6 months later, after I'd started it, I was asked to do the colours test and I was asked to fill out the questionnaire. And when we came to the workshop, I was very surprised by the results because I've always considered myself as an introvert, and the results for my test were that I was a very high red, which was a leader and an extrovert. And okay, so now I know that I'm a leader, but I didn't then. And I also had a lot of yellow in my chart as well, which if you guys know anything about the colours test, it's all to do with creativity. And I sat there amongst other people who were also very high red. And I looked around and I said to myself, but I'm nothing like these people. I do not feel like I'm in the right place right now. And I realised after I'd kind of analysed, what had happened here, I realised that what I had done is I'd let my ego mind overtake what who I actually am. And I had answered the questions as to how my employer probably wanted me to be. And from that moment on, I wasn't interested in the colours test. I didn't think it helped me in any way, shape or form. But a couple of years later, when I found out about the human design system, it was just a completely different experience. It was a system that really, really started to show the nuances and the tiny little details and the energy around myself. And once I started to use the human design system, use my strategy and authority, use the way that my energy was designed to work, I actually found that I stopped working so much. I was working 10 hours in my corporate job, 10 hours a day in my corporate job. I was hardly earning anything at all. And between the time that I found the human design system and now, which has been 4 years nearly, I have started working 50% less compared to then. And I have also earned probably around 3 to 4 times more. And it's all because I've used the human design system to bring myself back to alignment, to decondition away from who I thought that I should be into who I actually am. And I've let my genius shine through that. So let's get back a little bit to what the human design system is. I've told you a little bit of my story. So the human design system is, another way of explaining it is it's astrology on steroids. right? So if anybody out there has, had an astrology reading, or, they've looked up a couple of bits in their chart, maybe they know their top three, maybe you might know loads about astrology, right? But the thing is with human design is that not only does it contain astrology, but it also contains a lot of other modalities. And those modalities all together give you this blueprint, gives you your body graph in the human design system. And because it uses so many modalities, it ends up being the most accurate system, the most accurate blueprint of your personality, your energy. And it can really help you to understand who you are, who you're not, which is really important to let go of that imposter syndrome you might be having. And it really helps you step out into that leadership energy that you have. It helps you reclaim your energy. It helps you to slow down, to speed up. And there's nothing about the human design system that is negative. Even if you have heard negative things about, I don't know, your chart, or you've had a reading and someone said, oh, it was a little bit negative. There's nothing negative about it, because every single part of you, even the not self, even the shadow part of you, can be construed as wisdom after it's healed. You can go through a healing process to really start to step into that wisdom. So that's my little introduction about what the human design system is. Thank you for sticking around. I'm sure I'm going to be sending out lots more podcast episodes. The concept of simple human design is literally that because it's such a complex system and it's so hard for busy entrepreneurs to sit down and learn it these days, the concept behind this podcast is so that you can have bite-sized snippets about human design, and each episode is only going to be 5 to 10 minutes long. So you'll be able to come and you'll be able to binge all the episodes and start to really understand it. And I will also have guests on as well, and they will be longer episodes too. So thank you for listening to the first episode, and I will see you in the next one. It's all very exciting.